Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margo Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is part of the family of shows on the podcast network, itsneworleans.com.
Tonight, our show is at Grill by the Hill, which is a non-existent restaurant next to Monkey Hill Bar, the Magazine Street establishment in uptown New Orleans. Grill by the Hill closed down a while back, but on Monday nights, we bring it back to life. This space is an awesome kitsch recreation of a French Quarter courtyard, complete with a ceiling of twinkling stars. And once a week, Margo and I meet here under the stars, the fake stars, to invite a friend, a member of the New Orleans restaurant community to join us. And we invite them to bring along a buddy, a plus one. We never know who that plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, or a fellow restaurant business colleague. We'll find out tonight in just a moment. We're very excited about our special guest. Now, before our special guest begins, we ought to let folks know about our drink specials from our host, Monkey Hill Bar. They offer our listeners a happy hour Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. They have $3.50 well drinks, $1 off beer, $1 off wine by the glass, and $1 off signature cocktails. Tell them Ray and Margo sent you.
Tonight's show is sponsored by Pearl Wine Company in the American Can building in Mid-City, and also Petite Pet Care, dog walking and pet sitting. Loving care when you're not there. More information can be found at petitepetcare.com, PETITPETCARE.com, or at 504-300-9PET.
I like the coupling of those two, wine and pets. It's pretty cool. Well, Margo, what'd you do this week, food-wise? I bet you had some adventures. I was out of town, so mine was pretty lame, but I bet you had some good food.
Well, I went out of my comfort zone this weekend.
And your comfort zone's pretty wide.
It is pretty wide.
So what does that mean? Is that like insects? Like what did you eat?
No, I have tried bugs at the aquarium and cookies.
The insectarium?
Yeah, so I guess I shouldn't say outside because it's not worse than that. But I ate Ethiopian food.
Oh, I love Ethiopian food. Where'd you go?
Well, it's this little place called Ethiopia on on Magazine. I don't know the exact address, but it's up.
The one that's right past Jackson?
It's walking distance to that bar, Bulani.
Oh, yeah, that's the original one. Right. It used to be called Abyssinia, I think.
Okay, well, it is new owners, and it was fantastic.
Oh, cool.
The last time I ate Ethiopian food was probably 15 years ago, and I vomited, so I was really scared to try it.
Wow.
And this was unbelievably delicious.
Cool.
I had no adverse reactions, and I would even crave it and go back soon.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started going to Nile after a while. I stopped going to Abyssinia. Nile's the one by Jackson, the one that had a fire and they rebuilt recently.
I haven't been there yet.
But I'm glad to hear the other one's even better than it was before, because I kind of liked it before. I just like Nile a little better. Now it sounds like that one's great, too.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Oh, that's exciting. I can't wait. Mm-hmm. Margo, looks like we're ready for our special guest.
Yes.
I'm very excited because we get a lot of entrepreneurs in the show, as you know, and doing all kinds of good things, successful ventures. But this is kind of unique in a way. I was thinking about this. I thought, this is a person who started, of all the things to start in New Orleans, another jambalaya mix. That takes guts, right? Because we have like 1,000 different companies that are established that make jambalaya mix. And to do that, to jump in the middle of that in New Orleans, I mean, I can see you starting a jambalaya mix in San Francisco or in, or New Jersey or something. But to do that in New Orleans and then do it successfully, and it's been going for a few years, that's amazing, right? That takes guts.
Absolutely.
And so I want to learn what kind of person can do such a thing as that. So that's why we have her on the show today. This is exciting. We have Kristen Preau of Cook Me Somethin Mister. Welcome.
Hello,
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. So my question for you is that most people around the country learn about cooking from their mothers or grandmothers typically. But in Louisiana, we have a strong history and do things a little differently.
We do.
Will you share with us how you learned your family's recipe and experiences?
Sure. Well, very typical New Orleans of me. I did not actually learn my first dish in the kitchen. I learned it in the backyard and at the parking lot with my dad in a big old cast iron kettle.
And how old were you when that?
I really since I can remember cooking with my dad. I mean, I grew up, there's a picture of me, 1985, I was 2 years old, sitting on the side of my dad's grill with the cast iron pot next to it with my brother sitting in the middle of the grill. And that was our family photo. We grew up around outdoor cooking. And so honestly, I like to say, since I was tall enough to stand next to the pot is when I started stirring the pot. So that's when I first started to learn. And it's it's been kind of neat with the last name like Preau. I mean, very, very typical. Preau is how we spell it. My brother and I played a lot of sports. Growing up, playground ball, grew up out in New Orleans East. I was a Kenilworth Chief. But I grew up always going out to the playground with my dad and cooking a big pot of jambalaya to serve to my brother's, teammates and all the fans and stuff out at the game. So I grew up from playground to, NFL today, cooking at tailgates. It was fun.
And was it his own special recipe?
Yes. It's his own recipe that he even perfected. Do you guys know Joe Kahn? He's the self-proclaimed commissioner of tailgating. And he was one of the original founders of the New Orleans School of Cooking. And my dad and Joe used to cook all the time. And my dad actually would work with Joe at the School of Cooking to teach his recipe to New Orleans tourists coming in town who wanted to learn these recipes.
Yeah, that's been around since, 1980 or something, right? Like late 70s or so, that New Orleans School of Cooking.
Yeah. So that's it's just one of those. My dad, his trade is outdoor cooking equipment. We never, I don't have any chefs in my family. I'm not professionally trained in culinary, but he always sold the cooking equipment, even outdoor cooking equipment, like a double burner that you see a lot of festival foodies use for outdoor cooking, and it's even in Chef Paul Proudhomme's cookbook. The outdoor cooker that he used for blackened redfish, my dad manufactured that cooker for him, and he used that for that. So my dad would always.
There's like a picture of it in there?
Yeah.
Now, did he he came up with the design of it, an unusual cooker?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, and what's the name of your dad's company?
My dad's company, he started in the late 70s. It's called AdGas Outdoor Cooking Products, and he designed the actual side cooker that goes to the barbecue, and it's this double burner cooker on a stand that you can hook up either to propane or natural gas. And I remember Frank Davis used to do cooking shows at my dad's shop in Gentilly, and Joe would come out there.
Is that the guy who is like cayenne pepper? That guy who has is that Frank Davis? He's
Frank Davis,
the famous Cajun.
He's the guy who died last year?
Yeah. Naturally Nolans. Frank Davis. Yeah. So my dad, he grew up doing gas fittings and doing he worked with the plumber when people wanted to get a natural gas barbecue at their backyard. My dad was the guy to put it in, and he just saw an opportunity to say, man, barbecue as a backyard cookout is this growing industry, and he wanted to expand his product line and came up with these outdoor cookers.
So your dad didn't have a day job, right? He was doing this full time by then?
He was doing it full time, yeah.
Wow.
Put me and my brother through Catholic high school, so he did pretty well with it at first, yeah. But he would cook the jambalaya in the cast iron pots. That was one of his product line extensions to promote his pots. So that was always his way of bringing it back to his cookware.
So how did it turn from tailgating and, a family tradition to a business for you?
For me, the big aha moment it's my Katrina story. I was fresh out of college, just accepted a job with UNO Athletics, and I accepted the job the Friday before Katrina. I'm evacuated in Louisville, Kentucky with my whole family, and my dad and I try to come up with something to do, and I was given the opportunity to say, hey, if you can raise money for UNO, for the students and everyone that's evacuated, you can keep your job because we have no source of income. And we come up with a tailgating fundraiser, and I travel across the country with everything that I owned fitting in the back of my Honda Civic, including the cast iron pot. And we went to 11 different universities. We went to Auburn, Tennessee, Louisville, Ole Miss, went to Lafayette, traveled all over, and cooked my dad's jambalaya, and did that in return for donations to UNO. But what was the aha moment for me is people would come back not only just to support New Orleans, but they come back and tell me, this is the best jambalaya I've ever tasted. How do you make this? And it was, me always wanting to be an ambassador for New Orleans. I saw that opportunity that people outside of New Orleans love this. How do I put this together and how do I make my job tailgating? I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit selfish at 21 years old that I wanted to tailgate for the rest of my life.
Well, I'll tell you, like when I travel, people want to take me to Louisiana restaurants. Every town has one, usually any decent sized town, and a lot of times I'm not that impressed because they're not used. They don't have a real refined taste in it, and because it's a different genre, they don't know what they're having, and you can get by with a mediocre Louisiana cuisine in other places. Is what I'm trying to say. It's a little different in New Orleans, right, where people are having this stuff all the time. And for you to jump into like the jambalaya mix market when it's already kind of flooded. I mean, you go to Rouse's and it's got to be 20 different kinds of locally made jambalaya mix or whatever by all these brands that are well known and been around a long time.
Right.
So to jump in the middle of that and then be able to make a go of it. I mean, now you guys are in what, like 600 restaurants? 600 grocery stores or something like that. I forget what I read. But
we're across 6 states.
Wow.
We're in Sam's Clubs. We're in
Right.
Rouse's, Bromart, Dornax, Langenstein's, Zapardo's. I can't forget one.
Oh, wait, we just got a sample, Margo. Hold on.
You
Kristen
guys
can
brought
keep
us
talking.
some-
I'm eating.
Yeah.
you guys can enjoy it while I remember the list. I mean, actually my first customer was Bromart. But since then, I'm in all the local stores. And you can even get
that's
this.
delicious.
Thank you.
You know what I like about it? I like that it's kind of mild. It's not like overwhelming. A lot of jambalaya sauces try to outdo each other by how, if you want to add heat, you can do it after you. That's what I always
But
do.
this
I always
has
add the heat to
flavor.
it.
It has.
Then you can taste the flavor besides just the heat,
Now, what sets you apart in your product, do you feel, from the others? I mean, besides being delicious, how it's made, or?
It's how it's made. And the first thing I was going to tell you, too, when the first sale that I made, the first thing they asked me is, why do we need another jambalaya? And I had to answer that question. I fell into this. I didn't, since that tour, I didn't say, let me go back and get into
Your
the
answer
jambalaya.
was, I needed a job. That's why you did it.
No, I mean, I really kind of fell into it. But what I've found, based on our customer feedback, after they try it, after they taste it, with the big difference, and I know this is a radio show, but I'll talk you through it. I brought something to show. This is what's inside the bag, and what I'm showing them is the rice that is fully seasoned and blended. And that's something that comes from our manufacturer. We work with Chef Paul Proudhomme now with his Magic Seasoning Blends company. And
That's good stuff.
And if you were to put this rice, our rice mix, on a white linen table right next to any other brand jambalaya mix, you'd see the difference. Any other brand, you see the rice with a big old clump of seasoning that you got to cook the whole thing at one time. This one, it's well blended, it's seasoned, the seasoning's infused into the rice, so you can really use this for any rice dish. It's Monday, we can throw some red beans on top of that and have red beans and rice and not have to flavor up your beans. You can do this in a stuffed bell pepper. I made little fried rice balls with it. It's a very versatile rice because of how we blend it. So, and no MSG, and it's truly made from my dad's recipe. So that's that authenticity that I bring to the rest of the world when I travel with it too.
Well, this is very timely because you may save me because I made a big mistake a couple days ago. I noticed a little gap in our cabinet in our kitchen, and I like to buy things when I'm out and I'm walking around. And so I went to Langenstein's, one of my favorite grocery stores, and I bought 10 boxes of another brand of a local brand of rice that I'm not going to name because I hate to put anybody down. But I bought 10 boxes of it, and we made our first box last night, and it was absolutely disgusting. So it was horrible. And so I need to refill that space with something better. And so maybe I can go out and grab about 10 boxes of this tomorrow. Now that I know it's good, and that'll my wife won't be too mad at me.
It's not in a box; it's in a bag.
Yeah,
but it's different. It really is different, and that's what people love about it. They love the flavor, the versatility of it, and then they get to know the story that it's a true New Orleans family that's putting this together.
And it's made locally by an incredible,
by the best blending facility of seasonings in the state of Louisiana.
Awesome.
By Chef Paul Proudhomme's team. You can't ask for anything better in there.
Now you got hooked up with him through your dad's, through his use of your dad's equipment. That's how it happened.
Yeah, when
Cool.
my dad made that cooker for him years ago, they kept the relationship going, and we're the first and only rice product in Chef Paul's in his Magic Seasoning Blends facility now.
Oh,
so
cool.
we've got a great relationship with them, and I'm very grateful because Chef really has invested in so many culinary professionals in the city. You know, I know Frank Brightson really got his start from Chef, and so many others that he's just taught through the years and put into the market, and now here he is giving a young entrepreneur an opportunity to build a business.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think it's time for your plus one. Why don't you introduce him to us?
This is the guy that I have looked up to my entire life. Even my nickname before it was Jambalaya Girl used to be Kevin Preau's little sister. And I'm very grateful that just this past year, my brother Kevin Preau has joined me, and we now have 2 full-time employees in our company.
Welcome, Kevin.
Yum, yum, come get you some.
I want to know a little bit about what you did before and how you decided to come and join with your sister. And
we've always kind of been a family business, and we've always wanted to do something different. And when I was playing ball in college and that career was finished, we tried to come up with all kind of different things. We were trying pots, we were trying cookers, we were trying barbecue pits. Me and my dad were just working together at the time. And so we tried to recruit Kristen with like a good product. She was the one who could get the things. Me and my dad are not. We're not sit down there and put it on paper and do stuff like that. She can do that. So we had to come up with a good product to get her in. So we tried from cookers to grills, and finally we were cooking one day for Holy Cross, and Chef George Rhodes, who's chef used to work with Al Copeland and stuff like that, and he was cooking our jambalaya mix one time. He said, Paul, why don't you come up with your own recipe? And some of the dads say what? Like my own recipe. So yeah, we can make this into your own recipe. Right. We got cookers, we got pots, we can sell all kind of stuff like that. So so from that point on, he brought us to Chef Paul Proudhomme because Chef George is close with Chef Paul Proudhomme, so he brought us to him, and we finally hit on a product that we could recruit Kristen in. So come help us out. So finally, she came along. Yeah. So, but she's been doing the most of the work. Me and my dad, we're still trying to do the pots and the cookers still. So we kind of letting Kristen run with the whole Cook Me Somethin Mister deal. And,
now who came up with the name Cook Me Somethin Mister? Who is that? And explain that to our listeners, because we have a lot of people from around the country and they probably don't know what that phrase refers to.
Well, since we've been doing, my dad came up with Cook Me Somethin Mister first of all back in mid-90s, I'd say.
Wow.
For the cast iron cookware and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff. And we've cooked our jambalaya mix all over now. And people say, Cook Me Somethin Mister, Cook Me Somethin Mister, what is that? But they kind of get a hint. For example, we were cooking in Pensacola or a place like that where they don't really experience the whole. And they were like, Cook Me Somethin Mister, that's a catchy name, but Cook Me Somethin Mister comes from when you in a parade for Mardi Gras and you ask them to throw your beads. So you'll say, throw me something, mister. So we say, cook me something, mister, as opposed to throw me something, mister.
Yeah.
Well, it's brilliant because food is it is just so much our culture, as much as Mardi Gras and every. It's such a strong. I think it's a fantastic, memorable. And another question about y'all's marketing is I see you're wearing yellow forks on your ears.
They're very fancy.
They're very.
We should clarify. Kevin's not wearing the yellow forks on his ears.
Thank you.
Just Kristen.
Yeah, right, thank you.
Did you come up with that, or did you buy those?
I made them.
You made them.
Yes.
So it was. Y'all live. Jambalaya.
Oh yeah, I've had the Jambalaya Girl nickname since I was young and cooking in all of my brother's games with my dad. But I actually, prior to launching the Cook Me Somethin Mister business, I was working to build this. my first bat at being an entrepreneur, I put together the Black and Gold Superfans calendar. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
We did that the year the Saints won the Super Bowl. I, with the help of Super Saint and Dirty Coast, we put together a Houdat fraternity from the Pope and Whistle Monster and, you know,
Cool.
the Optimist Saint and all of that.
Dirty Coast right here in the neighborhood, a few
Yeah.
blocks away. Yeah, cool.
Well, pulling that calendar together, that was the year we won the Super Bowl. Well, the super fans were asked to lead the Buddy D dress parade
Nice.
throughout the French Quarter.
Explain to our
And
listeners what that is.
So Buddy D was a commentator for WWL Radio, very passionate radio commentator who had this very strong accent in Lisp, but everyone loved listening to him. Not only call the sports calls, but also try and say WWL. But he always said, Buddy D was a bigger man, and he always said, when the Saints go to the Super Bowl, somebody's going to have to make me a dress the size of a tent so I can go and parade down the French Quarter in a dress. And so the community came together and put
Held
together.
him to it.
Well, no, he had since passed.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah, he
passed.
didn't live to see it.
He didn't get to. He didn't live.
So
to
they had
see.
the parade anyway without him.
So they
Right.
had the parade in his honor, and just about every man in the city showed up in a dress and wig and looked fabulous. It's when the
That's
610.
fantastic.
I think it's when the 610 Stompers made their launch. It was just
Oh.
they led the parade with the super fans, and beautiful day. Well, Whistle Monster called me out and Super Saint, and they said Jambalaya Girl, because at this point I had a T-shirt that said Jambalaya Girl as I was cooking for everybody, and they said, you're gonna have to step it up. You're a super fan too. So that day I came up with a mini cast iron pot on my head and went to Party City and got these lovely yellow and gold plastic forks and stuck a hole in them and made them my signature fork earrings. Luckily, the fork earrings stuck around, not the cast iron pot. and even now there is a caricature of the Jambalaya Girl in my package, and that even came as a kind of fell into that too. I was doing another promotional event for my alma mater, Southern Miss, and a cartoon artist was there, did a sketch of me, and I told him, I said, can I use, it was a hot August day. I had a hat on because I was sweating. Like, literally, that caricature came from a cookout, and I told him I wanted to make that my new logo.
Nice.
And she's now the becoming the Wendy's girl for Louisiana.
Ah, yeah.
Cool.
But fun story too. You were asking about the Cook Me Somethin Mister name and its significance. There is a disconnect once you really get past Louisiana with
Right.
that. But this lady in Atlanta, when I cooked there one time, she had the best definition of it. She said, "I get it." She picks up the bag, hands it to her husband, and says, "Cook me something, Mister." I said, "That works too."
Look, I'm on my third cup,
Woohoo!
but I just realized this one is a little different. This has red beans in it. And
Yes.
it's gives it a nice. It still has the complex flavor, but it makes it a little creamier, and it's a whole different meal. Mm-hmm. And it just has the red beans, right?
That's all we
to it?
added. And that, growing up with my mom always taught me how to make the red beans, but we put so much seasoning into the beans that with our rice, all I did was warm up the beans, throw some sausage in it with our seasoned rice, so you get the flavor and the seasoning from the rice, and you just gotta warm up the beans. In honor of a little jambalaya red beans Monday dish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a business question. I know even less about business than I do about food. So so clear. I may be completely off on this, but you mentioned you're in Sam's Club, and when I think, I've only been to Sam's Club a couple times, but when I think of Sam's Club, I think of like they have a lot of bulk stuff, and it tends to be things that are like affordable, so it's more discounted. And I know they also, I've read that they also sort of pressure their suppliers to kind of give them the smallest possible profit margins because everybody wants to be in Sam's Club, so there's a lot of competition and all that. I would think all those things would pressure you to keep your costs down, and it'd be harder to maintain the quality that you want. Like, how do you maintain the quality of your product and still make it available in something like Sam's Club that's really kind of pressuring you to be discounted and so forth? How's that work?
Right, and that was even before I approached Sam's Club, was a lot of the questions and concerns that I had as well. But I'll tell you, I had a very unique experience with them. I didn't go in initially to be distributed nationwide. They offered a program. They call it showcase events. In essence, they gave me a spot in Sam's Club that I can go in, sample, promote my product, sell it for a weekend at a time. And after the weekend's over, I'd take all my product with me and I'd leave. And it was a fabulous introduction. And I'll be honest, the path that I followed, a little bit of skill, a little bit of luck, I didn't have to sacrifice anything about my product.
Oh, that's so great.
Interesting.
And I was doing a tasting there, and this woman comes up and tries a sample, comes back, tells me how much she loves it, introduces herself as the CEO of Sam's Club, who was there for one of the grand openings, who called my buyer to tell him to give me a shot. And I'm not nationwide, but I'm in a select, about 10 Sam's Clubs across the southeast area, even in Kentucky and Indiana, randomly.
Wow.
But they've actually been a wonderful partner to work with, and they look to me as a local woman-owned business vendor, and definitely helped me through their system. And I really haven't gotten any pressure. And I've been very fortunate with all of my stores, from the grocery stores to Sam's Club, even some food service distributors, that if you support your product and you push it. I didn't just sell it to Sam's or any other store and then kind of set it and forget it. We're in there. My brother is too. He's actually been in Sam's Clubs and Rouse's and Bromart's more than I have lately. And we're in there promoting it every single weekend of the year for the past couple of years.
Huh.
So they know that we're behind
Now,
our
what does that
product.
mean to promote it every weekend? Like, what are you doing?
We're cooking in there.
You're
all the
cooking
time.
it, okay.
Yeah,
It's like
giving
my
out the
office
little
in there now.
sample.
Right, all right.
Like,
So making sure the customers want it, and then they'll, then
Right.
they'll stay on the shelf. They won't
Right.
be. Yeah, okay.
Right,
Gotcha.
right. And that's the best way. I mean, word of mouth and giving out tastings of a food product is the number one way. And we call it a demo, but it's when you set up that booth and cook and sample it in the store.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah?
So if y'all are cooking the jambalaya on the weekends and running this business, and how do you have time to do anything else? And what do you eat on your little bit of free time? Because I would not imagine, like, if I went into your refrigerators today, would you have what's in
You
it?
got to be so
Nothing.
sick of jambalaya, right?
I literally have nothing in my fridge. No, because we're eating out a lot. When I cook at Sam's, I mean, if you'd have told me this 2 years ago, I would have said you're crazy. But I fell in love with their little hot dogs that they got. I eat those things like it's my job.
Yeah,
so.
you know why? Because they put an addictive chemical in there. That's what they do. That's how they get everybody to eat them. Because they're horrible. So there's no other explanation. Yeah.
And trying out different recipes for the jambalaya like during the week. So yeah,
But
pretty much eat the same thing over and over.
Yeah, but I mean, we're busy with that Thursday through a Sunday, so we have a lot of downtime. The early part of the week, almost even just like a restaurant, that you're busy when people are out
So
there
you have
shopping
no
and
life,
eating.
just like in a restaurant.
Exactly.
Wait, no. Here's the other lovely part. In 2 weeks, I'm getting married, and I'm going on a honeymoon for a week, and another reason why I hired Kevin on. Somebody needs to run the show.
All right. Well, the business was nice while it lasted. Wow, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you meet this person while you were? Did you feed him jambalaya? Is that how you met him?
Of
You met him at?
Yeah.
Really? Was it a tailgate
Where?
or at
What
a?
city?
In New Orleans.
All right.
I was cooking for my friend hosted a party for the Saints Super Bowl game, and I cooked a 4-gallon pot of jambalaya, and he had his eye on me as soon as he smelled the jambalaya. And we've been together. That's when we first met, was during that game. And he's from Tennessee, and I'm that good old New Orleans girl that meets a guy from out of town and keeps him here.
Good. All right.
All right. Well, since you look up to your big brother, did he have an opinion about? Do you like?
Oh yeah,
Brother-in-law
he's
to me?
great. Yeah,
He's
got a job and everything. No, I mean he's been great. So
Is he in
I
the
definitely
food
approve.
business?
No, he actually works.
with Barry. Yeah.
Right,
With
construction.
he's a construction engineer. Yeah. But no, I found the way to his heart with my food for sure. But no, it's been wonderful. Like, one of our first dates, he actually cooked a big old pot of jambalaya, and he really enjoys that. Actually, that's our date nights out now. We really do a lot of local charity events. We do, all the local high schools. We took part in some big fundraisers every year, and that's our date night. I'll say, Mason, come with me. You know, we got this great event. It's going to be so much fun. All this food and drink. Just help me work the booth for a minute, and then we'll. He's my runner to go.
Oh, that's love.
I know. He loves it. He loves it.
I tell you what, to put up with all we've put him through has been great.
So what would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Sounds like it's all kind of intertwined for you guys. Your whole life have been the same thing, though. It's been mostly sports and a little bit of marketing. You had a marketing background in sports, though, right? Mm-hmm. and then the cooking. So it sounds like that's pretty much everything. So if it wasn't this, it'd be one of those other things, you think, or?
I'd have to say for me, no, probably not. If it's, sports and my dad's company's ideas, I've just always kind of stuck with him. I mean, because he's had great ideas, we just never been able to fully put them together. And but I still play sports, softball, beer leagues out there, and just keep my.
Now it's just the two of you. There's not another wayward sibling that hates jambalaya and
no
hates sports.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
No, for me, I'd be doing something to promote New Orleans. I mean, if you look at my resume in college, it was to represent a company that promotes the culture of New Orleans, and it was really was in my wildest dreams that it would be my own company, an own brand with my family to build that. And we're a little bit of a character as a background. I mean, that truck my dad used to drive us around in with his barbecue and cooker business literally had a barbecue pit, a boiling pot, and a grill on top of the van.
What became of the truck?
Man, me and my dad, when it comes to cars, we played Jesuit my senior year in football and beat them, which, we were not good at all. We were terrible. But
you played who?
Played Jesuit.
Oh, Jesuit.
Okay.
We're
Holy Cross.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Holy Cross. And we were not good at all. But for the one game we wanted to beat was Jesuit. So my dad kept on putting that in, just beat Jesuit. So we beat him my senior year, and then we beat him 2017. So we got back to the school after that. And for some reason, I had a bunch of spray paint cans inside my car. And we got back to the school, and everybody's cheering and crazy. So we spray painted my whole car. 2017, it was a 1979 Ford Granada, yellow, and it was like the Holy Cross car mascot. Nice. So my dad, to go back to what we were saying, he had a van for his company and put the pots and the grills and stuff on top. So we were just crazy when it came to stuff like that.
So where is it now, the van?
We wanted to put the van.
Oh, it's been done for years.
It's in
van
graveyard.
He's been trying to talk me into putting a jambalaya pot on my car. That hasn't happened yet.
You put a jambalaya pot on your head. Why can't you put it on a car? Come on. Right. I'm surprised you don't live in like a giant jump, like your house is shaped like a jambalaya pot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, your front door is like a fork or something, right?
Uh-huh. I got a lot of forks,
I think it's time for the, isn't it for the book of questions?
Yes.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay. Kristen, what is your favorite number between 1 and 217?
19.
19. Was that your number playing sports? No?
That was my brother's. So corny.
So now he's not going to be able to ask that. All right. So if it's a terrible question, you'll have to answer for it. Okay. You have the chance to meet someone with whom you can have the most satisfying love imaginable, the stuff of dreams. Oh, boy. Sadly, you know that in 6 months,
he hates
the
jambalaya.
person will die. Knowing the pain that would follow, would you still want to meet that person and fall in love?
Oh. I don't like this question.
Can we throw a dead puppy in there, too?
Okay. So absolutely, you would have the most romantic.
I would do it. I would do it
nothing
over
different.
and over again.
How long are you going to have romance?
I'm knocking on wood over and over
Don't
again.
be superstitious. This book is total crap.
Wait. How long do they have?
6 months. And what if you
can
knew
come back on the
your
show
lover
after
would
6
not
months.
die, but what if you knew your lover would not die, but instead would betray you?
Oh.
Depressing.
I think that's even worse.
Let's burn this book after this show.
Betray you by buying Zatarans instead.
No!
Yeah.
Now let's have some fun with that.
The secret ingredient to Zatarans.
Yes, sell your secrets to Zatarans and they copy you.
All
right,
gosh,
all
yeah,
right.
no, I gotta have some fun with that one. I can't take it literally. But I mean,
You would chop them up and put them in the jambalaya mix.
Ah.
That's not funny. Sorry. All right.
That should taste good though.
That could be your secret ingredient, New Orleans.
New Orleanians.
Yes, New Orleans. The sausage. It's
Jambalaya is
sausage.
people. It's people. That's a little ingredient.
well,
People
when
from out of town are probably saying, what the?
no, all kidding aside, have all the confidence in the world with where I'm going with love, and I'm very grateful for everything. You know what? I'm even grateful for that company called Zatarans.
There you go. Way to be positive.
Yeah.
All right. You have to ask him a
All right.
question.
If I can
You-
read.
we
My
can't
eyes are going. What
Make
are the
her
numbers?
miserable and not you.
Magnify ones? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's good. What's your number?
Since she said 19, I'd have to say 10.
10. Okay. What's 10?
10 was when I was freshman or sophomore playing football. That was my number.
Oh.
But then somebody stole my jersey, so I had to switch to 19.
How can you steal somebody's jersey? 'Cause
That's
then
what
you
I'm
wear it
saying.
around. It's like you can't wear it in town. You'd have to be somebody out of state.
Well, we were kind of going through a transitional phase at the time, and we just had a few hand-me-down jerseys back then. So it was just, it just got up and walked away. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
All right.
My friend got his Elvi scooter stolen the other day, rolling Elvi, and it's like, who can ride it? It's a little kid's thing anyway, plus it's all decked out, like you'd recognize it right away. It's stupid. Who would do that? Okay, the question for number 10 is, which sex do you think has it easier in our culture? Have you ever wished you were of the opposite sex? Yeah, people look at Kevin all the time and go, he's kind of girly.
I don't know how to answer that. I'd probably have to say women.
Have it easier?
No, have it tougher.
Okay.
Oh, it says easier.
I'm all right.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you.
Well, I'd have to say men. I guess we got to hear more of the BS, but I think we might have it easier though.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's.
All
And
right.
that's why we make a great pair.
Now, do you have somebody that makes you listen to them? Are you projecting a little bit? Are
Well,
you single?
We'll go back to what you said. I have no life right now.
Aw.
I mean, you don't have to feel bad. Hopefully, it pays off.
We are living the lives of entrepreneurs right now,
Right.
fully through.
Now, just getting back to sports, do y'all feel? First of all, did your father was he athletic, or was he just bringing y'all out tailgating?
He was an athlete.
He was an athlete.
He played basketball and ran track, but he was always had speed, and playing basketball he was just kind of the brute, just like throwing elbows or whatever, So, but I mean, he always had track speed and taught me a lot about speed and everything. But
So, do you think that mentality of doing sports and being a part of sports athletically and teams and stuff informed your decisions in business and
oh, absolutely,
Absolutely.
Well, Kristen, she was great. She'd always support me in that, with everything. I mean, the only thing you did was that she had to get away from being Kevin Preau's little sister, so she went to Southern Miss, but I mean, she still ran track and everything. But he really supported us through that, and taking what we learned from that has truly helped us out.
it's translated well into your business
Right.
life and profession. So, do y'all have any other products or ideas on the horizon, or are you sticking with?
For now, we're sticking with the one main food product, being the seasoned jambalaya rice, and that's what I'm starting to market more of, is the versatility of it, and to showcase that, and to really grow. There's so much growth and potential with what we have right now that absolutely we'll expand the product line as we grow. But right now we do kind of like that one love thing. We do one thing well and can grow that to start it. But we're going from coming up this year, we're expanding into Texas with HEB. We're going to be in there later this year.
What's
What's
HEB?
HEB?
Sorry.
HEB is a grocery store chain
I've
across
heard of that.
Texas.
Yeah, I know that one.
I mean,
yeah.
I think
they're in Austin. I know. Yeah.
Oh, Austin, Houston, all across the southeast part of Texas. So they have a phenomenal grocery store, and they actually have a section in the grocery store for Cajun products, a whole aisle dedicated to it. So we'll fit right in, and it helps us to get outside of Louisiana, where there is 100 different options on the shelf. Right. But we're doing everything we can to differentiate ourselves, and it's really been successful in doing that. But as well, exporting our product, we're looking. I've found some opportunities overseas in Australia and Canada to sell our product, and then through some food service institutions. There's even a few of the best chefs in New Orleans that will use our jambalaya rice to prepare if they need something quick for a catering event or a festival. They like the quality of this, that they would never be caught using a mix, but they'll use this sometimes too. So we're working into that, like growing into restaurants and institutions like casinos and such.
Now,
too.
where's it made? Like, do you have a factory somewhere that's making this for you? Like, how's this stuff made? You're not making this in the kitchen, right? You're not drying out rice in your
It's
your house.
The facility it's the one Chef Paul Proudhomme owns. It's
okay.
Magic Seasoning Blends. It's out in Elmwood. Phenomenal facility. I mean, he has grown from a garage shed, literally, of mixing his seasoning bottles by hand and hand screwing on every cap to one of the largest food service
That's interesting.
production
I just
facilities.
always assumed that he lent his name to somebody else who was doing all that. That's his thing, huh?
And he's there every day running the show
No
still.
kidding.
Oh, yeah. He's doing wonderful.
Huh.
So y'all got to work closely with him, right?
Right,
In
we have.
the process.
So you're sort of leasing from him, or does he own a piece of the business, your business too, or how
In
does that work?
essence, more like a leasing. Like
Okay.
he's our manufacturer.
Okay.
So he to our specifications and our recipe, his team blends the product, prepares it for us, puts it in the bag, and then we then take it from there to distribute it and sell it in stores and food service too.
Huh. That's really interesting.
And have you grown from being able to distribute it yourselves? Do you have to outsource distribution? Because that's a lot.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, the first distribution I did was in the back of my Honda Civic. That got me started. And I literally walked it in through the back door of the grocery store, put it on the shelf myself, and sold one case. And now I'm working with, we're working with over 15 large distributors who can help us to get it across the country and international too.
Huh. Now, where do you get the rice from? Where's the rice coming from?
I would love to say that it's right here, but I will
Don't say
it-
China. Don't say China.
Oh my gosh, no.
We can't though, because they don't do it here. What they we
Well,
do a
We do it. We get it from Arkansas. I'll be very clear with that. But it's a
it's regional.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's regional. I would love to say, because we make it in New Orleans. I'd love to say everything's grown in Louisiana.
It gets all
but
put
it's-
together here,
Yes,
but the
yes.
rice comes from
It's because
Arkansas. Huh?
of it's very important. It's because of the parboiling of the rice that there isn't a facility in Louisiana that does
Right,
that
and that's the only
process.
reason.
Oh, so
Wow.
it's not exactly the strain of the rice that's wrong.
No.
It's because
Right.
there's no place to parboil it.
Exactly.
Correct.
Really?
Has that always been the case?
That's
or is that-
crazy.
From my and
Some listeners listen to this. You need to open a parboiling place, and that's like when they have the oil
I
and they don't have
know.
the refinery there, so they got to take it somewhere else, or whatever. I mean, that's
Right.
terrible. Or like you have the
Right.
coffee beans come in, so there's places where they roast it right here in New Orleans because that's where it lands. Like there ought to be like I can't believe there's not the right kind of parboiling place in. Are there no
No.
parboiling places, or just not the right kind for what you do?
just not the right kind right now. I mean, it's kind of not to delve into it too far. It's just I would, with the right opportunity and even with future products, the more products that we can get that are grown and raised right here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's regional, and my future mother-in-law is from Arkansas, so she loves that.
Wow, that That is so
I know.
interesting and
I know.
disturbing too.
And
Like,
that's
we
still,
need that,
and,
yeah.
and honestly, that's still
Not
a
disturbing about you
conversation.
guys, disturbing about our state. I mean, you know, that
and
we don't
that's
have
still, and I'll say this, that's still a conversation that I'm looking to have with some other growers and farmers and producers that I'd like to educate myself more on, so we can provide that.
How hard would it be for somebody to open up a par? Can I do this? How do you get a parboiling
we should
thing
chat
going?
after this. I think we just found
Yeah.
the new business opportunity.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
Wait,
I'll re-
I want to know too. Like, I know, like you added red beans. How does someone find out besides seeing y'all demonstrate in a store? Do you have a website that has recipes on it, or like a book that offers
Yes.
ideas?
We do have a recipe blog. It's jambalayagirl.com.
Okay,
where
and spell that for everyone, just so.
Jambalaya is JAMBALAYA girl.com. Not to be
Can you spell
confused.
girl?
Girl, G-I-R. There you go. Thank you. Not to be confused, when I did a San Fran NOLA party in San Francisco, on the bill for the party that they advertised, it was the Jambalaya Girl. Big difference. Jambalaya Girl. You say tomato, I say jambalaya.
So I can go on there and access recipes so that I could have a
Yes.
whole, have jambalaya on one night, have red beans and rice on the next. and
night
a whole
have
no-
you can make an egg roll out of this too. One of my recipes that I have on there.
Creative.
And
Yeah, with the
even
red
some
with the red
some
beans,
yeah.
too, it just uses all the seasonings from the jambalaya. So all you
Yeah.
gotta do is cook your beans and throw them on top.
Yeah.
So it picks up
It's
all the
very
seasonings from
they're
that.
all just like that, very easy recipes that even some leftover ones. If you got some leftovers the next morning, this is a great day after a night of drinking dish, and scramble up some eggs and put it in a tortilla.
Wrong gonna say. That's what the Cajuns make with their leftover rice. Wrong gonna say, y'all heard of that?
No, I don't know.
No.
It's eggs and leftover rice and.
Really?
I love everything the Cajuns
Carrots.
say.
That's
And I like to listen to you say Cajun
I don't
stuff
know.
too. You
My
got the right
sister-in-law's
music
Cajun.
for it.
I could have just made that up, but
I believe you.
maybe
Me too.
you can do a little research and add that to your
I will.
recipes. Wrong gonna say.
Absolutely.
So, Kevin, are
Yes.
you a yum yum guy?
Yum Yum guy. Where'd you get that from? No, we have the girls, Yum Yum Girls.
So, what is Yum Yum Girls?
Yum Yum Girls is the girls who go and cook and do demos for us like that. And it's when we did the Saints tailgate, we'll have Yum Yum Girls come out there and cook and serve up Cook Me Somethin Mister Jambalaya, and they're just some of the prettiest girls in the city representing our city, and that's what we call them, Yum Yum Girls.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that? That sounds great.
It was mine originally. Well, we have a fun saying whenever our dish is done and ready to serve. You got to say, "Yum yum, come get you some," and it's it's silly, but the Yum Yum Girl stem from when I started going to a lot of these parties where we got invited to cook. All my friends, all my girlfriends wanted to come and join me at it. And I'm like, listen, if you help me out.
If you wear this bikini.
Yeah, right? No. Let me not confuse the Yum Yum Girl part. We are classy girls with fancy fork earrings. But they are, that's my cooking team. And we actually, in our first year in business, we got picked to go on one of Guy Fieri's Tailgate Warriors show. And he was dying looking at me and my cooking team with the Yum Yum Girls and the Jambalaya Girl. And he even said, he's like, man, I got culinary gangsters. I need some Yum Yum Girls. So it's good food and good friends surrounding cooking next to the pot.
All right. Well, unfortunately, y'all, the fake stars are starting to twinkle, and our
In our fake courtyard here, yeah.
come to an end. So we wanted to thank y'all for joining us tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One, and we know your time obviously is precious, so we really appreciate you coming in tonight. And can you just tell us a little bit more about where people can buy the product, and if you
Web
wanna-
address again, yeah.
web
anything
address,
like
and
that.
if you want to plug any events you're coming up.
Sure. As far as the store locations, you can actually go to our website, Go to jambalayagirl.com. You'll find all the store locations. But it's your local here in New Orleans area. It's your Rouse's, Bromart, Dornax, Langenstein's, Zapardo's.
Cool. All our favorites.
All of our favorites, dude.
Yeah.
And Sam's Club, of course. And Kevin is leading up a new event that we're going to be partaking in.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. We'll be doing cooking that for Wednesdays at the Square, starting next
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lafayette Square?
exciting.
Yes.
Oh, with the music and all that? Oh, that's
have a-
great. Oh, what a great event to be
You
at.
are going to meet someone and have a fantastic time doing that. I
Thank you.
foresee it. I'm the psychic
I've got the
co-host.
stars going on now.
It is
too.
Yeah.
It's in the air. It's so much fun. That's a great event. So
We're looking
y'all are
forward to
doing the festival.
Yeah, we're doing it for the whole year this year, starting.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm really looking forward to it. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's
And he'll
exciting.
also be going with Woody's Fish Tacos up to Norfolk, Virginia. There's a big Bayou Boogaloo Fest there.
We
that-
love Woody's Fish Tacos.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I've
he-
already proclaimed publicly on the show that if I only had 5 meals left, one of them would be, before I died, one of them would be Woody's Fish Taco. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
He's got good stuff.
That's great to partner with him.
Mhm.
You complement each other really well. So you're going to drive all the way up there to do that.
Yep.
You got it.
Represent New Orleans well.
Cool. Norfolk, Virginia. Okay, well, we're out of time. Thank you so much. Once again, our special guests were Kristen and Kevin Preau of Cook Me Somethin Mister. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, and Chris Keogh is our technical director. And this fabulous audio quality that you hear is by PreSonus Audio Electronics. Makes all kinds of wonderful things. Visit presonus.com for more information. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website. It's neworleans.com, and from there you can follow us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, sign up for our mailing list, get all kinds of swag. And while you're at itsneworleans.com, you can listen to other episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, Happy Hour, Mindset, True to the Game, Vietnola, Out to Lunch, and others. And if you're listening to the show on iTunes, please rate us and review us. It helps other people to find us. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Until we meet here again, I am Ray Kanata.
And I'm Margo Moss. Thanks.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green Potty Mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, U.S. only.